Hey, Tony Benson here, Notary Calendar founder. I'm going to go through real quick figuring out your travel fees as far as how to figure out your base distance. And it is going to take probably some testing, some playing around a little bit, but I'm going to show you a nice little trick that I figured out after I tested it a bunch. You're coming to the profile, right? And if you haven't watched the other videos on setting it up, I'll touch on this real quick so you know what it is. The max distance mile is telling the system that this is the furthest I'm willing to travel to do a job. If somebody's 175 miles away and they search for me, they're not going to find me. If they're 100 miles away, they will find me, right? The base travel distance is how far you're willing to travel for your base fee. In the service fees section, you're going to set up how much you charge for each individual type of signing, right? A power of attorney, a trust, a living will, real estate, whether it's a purchase or sale. You put in your base fees, and this is telling the system, I'm willing to drive this far for that base fee. If you have to go beyond your base, that's where the fee per mile comes in. I got a question the other day where I was being asked about traffic and time and how do you calculate for your time and the traffic. And you basically are just going to have to figure out geographically with your location and what it's like. You should have some idea of what the traffic situation is. That's one reason I usually avoid Seattle. I'm 40 or 50 miles south of Seattle. Don't go there too often unless I have to. But if I'm going north in the morning time at 7 or 8 o'clock, even at 5:30 out here on the West Coast, traffic starts at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and it gets really heavy between 6 and 7:30. So if I know there's an appointment there, it's going to take another 15, 20 minutes. So time-wise, there's really no way to have technology calculate that to know what the traffic is like. So you're going to have to kind of figure that out on your own. There's not at this point. I mean, it'd be awesome if we could code a lot of that stuff in and say, well, if it's between these hours, then charge this much. But at the same point, it's like, at what point is it too much? So you're going to have to kind of figure that out. But if you live in a dense city and it takes you longer to get places because of traffic and all the other headaches that you have in a dense city, then you just have to play with figuring out, how far your base is and how much you want to charge per mile. And go in and test it. Go put in some numbers and change your fees. I tried it. I went from 15 miles down to 5, and then I upped this to $3, and then I changed my base fees. Instead of charging 85 for a power of attorney, I made it 50, and then I went and did a search. I wanted to see what the final fee was, right? The total fee. So do that, play with it. But here's one little trick I did figure out after I did all this. You can go in and just Google radius maps. And you can come in here, you can put in your address, you can put in exactly how many miles you want it to do. And all you do is hit new circle, and it will draw the circle around your location, right? It'll take your exact address, exactly how many miles you want to do. You can adjust it. You can say, okay, well, Enumclaw's not too far. I'm going to grab this one here, and I'm willing to go out to Enumclaw. That'll also take me over to Kent, Gig Harbor, Eatonville, Yelm. So if I want to incorporate those in my base mileage, then I can come up here and say, okay, that's 22 miles essentially. Or maybe I could say, let's see what 20 miles looks like. I don't know why I just zoomed in on me, but okay. I think that adjusted. I don't know. It was only a couple miles, so it wasn't much. But this is a great tool to go figure out approximately what you want to have your base mileage as. But the ultimate best way to do it, the final way I think to do it, is to test it here and go in and do some searches on your website when you have the widget on there and see what the difference is between low fees, low base travel distance, and then fees, and just toy around with it. So that's the best you can do. You're not going to break anything. And if you do, my developer's awesome. He'll fix it. If you run into a bug or something like that, let me know. We're constantly making updates. We're doing all kinds of adjustments. We're making lots, pretty big ones right now. So bear with me, come back. I wish YouTube would allow me to update these videos instead of delete them and start over, because I'm going to have to redo this either today or tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have this done. We're getting a more precise work time. We just deleted the zip code part because originally the mapping system was pulling from the center of a zip code. Now that we have the address part in here, I asked him if he could change that, how hard it would be. He said it's a piece of cake. Just remove the zip code. Now it's even more precise because it's pulling from this address instead of the center of your zip code. We're also changing the work start, work end. This is going to be a Monday through Sunday situation where you can put each day, because some people just do it part-time and you might only have 3 days a week where you got 2 hours a day, and the other 3 days you have 8 hours a day to work. So he is working on that right now. We are modifying, correcting, fixing things that need to be improved upon. This thing functions spectacularly the way it is, but we can always make it better. So if you have any suggestions, ideas, feedback, fire them off. I'm all ears. I want to see what they are, hear what they are. We've already made some great improvements, things that I hadn't thought about or knew we needed to, and then we finally figured out the best way to do it by having a conversation about it. So don't be afraid to reach out. Let me know, like I say, feedback, suggestions, anything at all, questions. So, all right, we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.